Hey guys, welcome to my Hellish Quart Thanksgiving weekend round robin. We're gonna get started pretty much right away. I'm here exactly on time. Um, don't see many people in the YouTube chat. I will be getting into the commentator chat, of course, in Discord. I'm just gonna show you guys how the standings look. So I'm actually gonna fight Piper right away. This is a very common occurrence in these tourneys. I think it often puts the first person who signs up, that's always me, the host, and then whoever's lucky enough to fight me first often gets to fight me first. Sometimes randomness doesn't look very random, so it could also just be completely random, and it just happens to turn out that way. I don't know, but all the same. Okay, Maestro might be late. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to set up the names, and I'm going to get into the chat. All right, let's just do Piper. All right, I'm going to get right in the chat. Just give me a second. All right, commentator, here we go. Thanksgiving tournament. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, to everyone watching. I know not everyone celebrates it in October. In fact, it's really a Canadian thing, as I understand it. But all the same, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Okay, let's get the link out to Piper. We're going to stick with Parsec. We're not going to mess with Steam. Parsec seems to be better. So that's how we'll do things. I see Soul Assassin there in the Discord. Feel free to check announcements for the link to the YouTube video. That's where I'll be streaming. That's where the action is. The purpose of going in to commentator chat is just so that people can listen to me while they're playing instead of having the stream in the background, which can be a bit taxing on bandwidth. And YouTube's a bit delayed too, so it's better to hear my voice live when you're actually fighting. So that's all it is. Piper and Drummer, I've sent you an invite. So let's get started. I'm gonna get the game going. Just started playing some Baldur's Gate 3, by the way, and it looks very addicting. I had to be very careful to avoid getting too addicted. Um, I haven't done a whole lot with the game yet, actually. I was spending a bunch of time in the customization and whatnot. I went with a tiefling, by the way, demonic sort of male character to start off. Definitely will be doing making other characters, or even experimenting with some of the main characters too. Let me just make sure we got 7 flags. Yeah, Warlock to be specific is the class I chose. The Fiend subclass for that. Looks like it'll be fun. Take your time for the acts. Yeah, yeah. I've been told to explore stuff and not to rush through it. So I'll definitely heed that advice. I've heard it's addicting, so that shouldn't be a problem. All right, Piper will be in here soon. Awesome. Okay, let's get started then. Reminder also, yes, it's a round robin, but you only get 1 round per match. 7 flags though, decent amount of time. Just make sure you make your fight count. You can't be messing around if you want to win your round. Piper, you're on the left, by the way, if you didn't get the message earlier. Might have to back out, or there might be a little delay. All right, let's see what's going on. Sometimes there's technical issues right at the beginning. You're not seeing competition calls. Hang on. You should be able to see it now. Kerosene, thank you for pointing that out. Think it's okay, just slow. Okay. Yeah, Piper sometimes his connection is not the best. 100% is addicting. Yeah, yeah. I'll be aware of that for sure, because I gotta balance that with my studies. It'll probably take forever to get through that game, but oh well. Okay, so Piper's gone with Alex. I'm gonna go with Alex too, because that's a fun mirror. And good luck. We'll obviously use the Void map. Probably the best competitive map, I think. The small one, that is. And good luck. That one was a little bit scary. A little bit of jank for both of us. Close flag there too. You nearly hit me in the head there. Good fight, Piper. Alex mirrors are always fun. He has very clear gaps in his defense though, so I think we know each other really well, and so we're actually aiming for those weaknesses a lot. It's a good fight, Piper. That should be 7-3, right? Yes, 7-3. I gotta keep in mind the scores. Let me just check that I did the settings right. It's been a while since I've hosted. I should not have 7 wins if I did it right. I should have 1 win with 7 points. Yes, so I have 1 win, 7 points. Perfect. The main tiebreaker, by the way, is gonna be wins, the amount of times you win. If that cannot decide who wins, that's when we go to win count. So like so wins first, who defeats who, and then if that doesn't work, to be clear, it'll be win count. So, all right, luck against multi. Basically, all you need to know is just win all your matches, and it's not that complicated, I suppose. Okay, luck. Here we go. That's multis. Good game, Piper. Oh, if Parsec will let me chat. There we go. Okay, so luck, you'll be on the left. Multis, you'll be on the right. Let me just get the names. Haven't seen multis in a little bit, but multis has definitely been around. I think that was Tao there. for the next up, so that's cool. Piper seemed to be doing really well on my host too. It was just a little slow to begin with, so that's good. Piper's over in the UK, so it's always a good sign if he's doing really well on my host. Luck has gone with Barabash. Basically, yeah, he often uses Yan and Barabash, so good pick by him. Maltese often goes with Calc. Calc is a good pick against either of those. So smart picks by both. And Luck on the offensive goes to the side and cuts. Taking advantage of Bar's mobility, that's going to be one of his key advantages. And unfortunately, Luck there walked right into the point. He's got a curved sword, so he can't really thrust straight with it. And Maltese took advantage of that and just thrusted straight forward with his superior reach. Ooh, Luck went for long range cut initially, which didn't land very well, but he was able to recover. Nicely done by him. And then there's a cut. Maltese having to watch that stamina. Cut into thrust. Good attempt there by Maltese. Retreat with the thrust. Definitely trying to use that point a lot, which is sensible. Good parry riposte by Maltese. I think anticipating that movement to the side by Luck as well. So they both seem to have a pretty solid game plan. Maltese shooting in to try and get that quick stab, using that reach that he's got. Luck with a thrust into a cut upward into the groin. Nasty. The Hellish Quart. That's what that move's called, and it often is aimed towards the groin, actually. Back then, they didn't care about that stuff. They just struck whatever was open. It was not viewed as dishonorable. So Luck slightly ahead. They're both actually playing quite a patient game. Luck is definitely more active, more aggressive, I would say, at times, but... And that's a double. Well, the same, they're both playing a really solid game here. Big cut by Maltese. I think that was a bait, though, and that was actually expertly done. Luck just didn't overextend himself, so it didn't quite work. And that cut right there is going to be really useful for Luck. That extends his reach when he shoots forward like that, that long guard Y. And that allows him to follow it up and shoot forward at a distance where Maltese might think himself safe. So, and it can also beat down long guard. It's a very good move. Again, trying to out-thrust him. He actually lands that thrust in the arm, but it wasn't a direct hit. And Maltese got a more convincing stab. Another stab. Looks like to the throat or the shoulder. And once again, this fight is even. Maltese is a pretty solid player. I think Luck is usually seen as the favorite between these two, but Maltese has a really solid Calc here, and Calc is pretty good against his saber style. You can see he's not moving quite the same way he normally does, and I think it's because he knows he can be punished. So Luck is having to sort of adapt, and he's doing a good job of it, but at this point Maltese is slightly ahead. Good stab. Big cut by Luck there. It doesn't quite connect. Maltese has a solid guard. That hand protection sometimes saves him too. And he has drawn some blood. Has to find that killing blow, and unfortunately there, Luck trying to step to the side, but he only made himself an easy target by doing that big motion. Stab to the throat. Getting to the side is a good tactic, but you just gotta be sure your opponent can't punish it immediately. Thrust, he immediately counters the whiff, though. He's nicely done by Luck. Luck has been getting some good points with that. Waiting for Maltese to overextend to launch an attack out of measure, such that he can immediately punish it. Malt still needing one more, though. He's in a pretty good spot. Luck could easily close the gap, though. Stab. Luck parries it. Luck is very much on the defensive right now, actually. He was more aggressive earlier, but he's really trying to play this carefully now. He knows one little mistake, and Calc is just going to stab him. Sorry about that. Oh, Malty's getting too close. I think he was launching some kind of an attack as well, which didn't help. But yeah, sometimes getting really close to your opponent opens you up for a cut, especially if your weapon is long and heavy like Calc's and such that you're at a disadvantage up close. Malty's with a big cut. Luck actually manages to punish the whiff. What Malt wanted to do there was Malt wanted to do a retreat thrust, but it just didn't land. That cut kept Luck safe, and he was able to get a snipe in there. Really technical game by both of these players. Good job. It is 7-6 in favor of Luck. Now we got Tau against Kerosene. That is really exciting because Tau is a Zera main, and Kerosene is a Zera main. And I know Tau is really excited to try fighting him, so. Both of these guys are from pretty far away. Kerosene from Korea. Good, Tau is here. I was a little worried because he didn't come into voice chat, but he probably just can't chat or something. That's all good. It's not expected. Alright, Kerosene is in too. So Kerosene from Korea and Tau is actually from Russia, so we got Korea versus Russia here. Let me just check. Yes, so Tau will be on the left. How we do this, by the way, for anyone who might be unfamiliar. The player on top is the one who goes left. It alternates throughout the tournament, so that's how we tend to do it. Once you get to a high enough level, the side doesn't really matter. So I think I misspelled your name, Kerosene. Hang on. Alright, we'll go with that. Tau on the left, Kerosene on the right. Malta's gotten really good indeed, yeah. That's what Luck said there. Good fight, by the way, guys. There was a really good to watch, and I think Malt's playstyle kind of shut you down, Luck. Because Calc has a good guard for starters, and he has a lot of reach and whatnot. So I think you were finding it kind of hard to get in, you know? And then eventually, you still won, of course, but it was really tough to overcome that. Yeah. Yeah, those are always interesting to see someone forced out of their comfort zone and having to adapt. And I think really good players are able to do that. So the fact you did it says a lot, I think. All right. And Tau with a thrust right off the bat there. Kerosene was being patient, I think looking for a quick counter, but Tau just killed him immediately. There's the holy stance. Kerosene being very patient again. A bit of a bait, perhaps. And unfortunately, Tau moves in for a cut. Imagine Kerosene really wants to set up those single tempo counters. That's where you attack immediately into an attack. Yeah, he's going for his wirches and thrusts. A bit out of measure, but he wins the trade there. Tau thought he had an opportunity, so it actually worked in his favor. Never seen him play. He posts some pretty neat videos on here sometimes, where he does a lot of that stuff. It's very skillful, Zera, and there he manages to set up one of those. It was really a double tempo because a two tempo because he did two attacks, but that was what he was going for. He got cut in the head a little bit, but it didn't matter. Parries the thrust and goes for a counter thrust. Yeah, this is often how he plays. It's a very different Zera from what many of you are probably used to. Tau gets to the side, though. Thus getting a kill. Actually, an even fight again. Oh, windmill's out of measure. He has to watch his measure. That's the only thing I think he's doing wrong right now. Nice cut there while Tau is in the middle of an action. Well, there we go. There's the counter thrust he's been looking for. Tau moved right into it, but it was no kill. Kerosene rushed into that cut, though. He should have been a bit more patient, I think. Still a good play by both of them so far. Oh, windmill out of measure. Tao punishing it. Tao is playing this really patiently. He knows Kerosene likes throwing all these attacks out there to try and counter with the attacks versus using the auto guard. And that thrust kind of landed. It wasn't the cleanest of hits. I thought it would have been a double though. So that's unfortunate for Kerosene. Tao rushes in, gets the push. Kerosene was being a bit passive there, and Tao took advantage of it. Tao again on the offensive there, and that was a good attempt, but Kerosene managed to force the double. Good reaction by him, because he was in a lot of trouble if he didn't swing back. Thrust out of measure, Zwirch out of measure, trying to get a better position, but Tao just punishes it. I hope Kerosene's not lagging. I think he does fine on my host usually. Oh, Kerosene very slow to react. Tao kind of slow to react too. I hope that's not lag. Crazy close exchange there. Some of them using big cuts too. And Tao, with maximum range there, manages to hit the arm. Alright, good fight, guys. Kerosene did well at the beginning, but I think Tao was able to read his style and thus get an advantage. That is 7-3, I believe. Just gonna make sure as we move on to the next match here. Looking it back, yeah, 7-3. If I ever get these numbers wrong, by the way, feel free to yell at me. Maestro against Sinister. Maestro hasn't really shown up yet. He'll probably ping me when he comes back. I think we'll skip that for now. Yell at me, Maestro, if you are here. Kerosene, that means we're actually skipping this fight too. You do not get to fight yet. But we will have Sinister against Piper. This is a matchup we had in the USFC, where Sinister did a good job with Laszlo's thrusts, but wasn't quite able to defeat my student, that being Piper. Hang on. I believe Sinister doesn't have... Sinister might not have the role, so I'll give him that quickly. When people participate in the USFC, I often forget they probably don't have the attorney participant role, so I'll give him that immediately. You should be able to see competition calls now. Yes, and I can ping you now. There's your link. Minimal lags? Okay. Yeah, so you're just messing up on your measure. I see. That's good to hear. Good to hear that it was not lag. Yeah, you got 7 more fights. Remember, guys, if you lose something, if you lose a fight, you're not out of it at all. And no matter what, you're gonna get a bunch of fights in, so that's good practice. And I'm sure Luck's pretty excited because this round he's actually gonna fight me. Patchin, I believe that's Sinister. This tournament is for a title, by the way. We got 8 people, so we got enough, at least as far as the round robin goes. We got Piper, awesome. Sinister, you're gonna be on the left, Piper on the right. Obviously, I'm a bit biased towards my student, but I do want to see Sinister put on a good show too, with his Laszlo. I'll keep it professional, of course, the best I can. Sinister on the left, Piper on the right. There you go. Might be just a little bit of a delay. Laszlo against Alex. That's a pretty classic matchup, actually. Ever since Zero used to use him against me and Oak has started using him against me. Though Oak has since switched back to Calc. And good luck, guys. Sinister with the thrust and Ooh, Piper's initial cut did not seem to land, but the second one did, so it doesn't matter. Sometimes that happens with any character, that's just how it goes. Sinister, ooh, I thought he cut the arm there, in fact, but Piper just kept going with that combo. That was a really good attempt by Sinister. Thrust to the head, no kill. Piper going low, that is really smart. Sinister was a little flat-footed. But the Vineyard Strike, the sidestep Y, hits Piper in the head. Sidestep by Sinister, nice footsies by both of them. And some head bobbing, strike to the head. That was a good attempt by Sinister, but his strike was a bit too slow. Piper with a good lead. Oh, I think that was blade away stance. You can't guard in that stance. I don't think he did it by on purpose. Piper got another hit in there. Piper goes for a thrust, but Sinister stepping to the side there. I like how Sinister's not just playing linearly, he's also playing laterally. Throwing some more cuts in there as well as thrusts. And I think he's trying to set up a stab, in fact, as we speak. Piper going for a little push out of measure, probably some kind of bait. Thrusts out of measure there. Both of them are kind of dancing a little bit. Upward slash by Sinister does get tagged a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Thrust by Sinister. No kill, but that's a pretty nasty place to get hit. Upward slash, but it's actually a bit too long range for that distance, and he forces a double with the stab. Good clutch play there. Yeah, sometimes when you're a bit too close for your cut, it doesn't land properly just because you don't hit enough of the edge. So it doesn't do damage. That said, Piper with another kill. Thrust, Piper beats it down, but unfortunately can't follow up. He actually gets cut there. That's not good. Sidestep forces a double there. Gets his belly sliced open, but lands a hit to the head. And Sinister keeping his distance, trying to be more precise with his footsies. I think he's doing a good job of that. Piper moves forward, follows up with a cut really quickly. Sinister's thrust doesn't quite land. Snap cut attempt, nice try. Thrust to the face by Sinister. It's a very peculiar style we're seeing with Laswell here. That's kind of a theme we saw that with Kerosene, a peculiar style. Not a bad style, but a different one from, I think, what we normally see. Stab to the face, I'm surprised that didn't kill. And Piper goes low, but unfortunately gets punished. The problem with going low is you don't trade very well. You got to be absolutely sure. Wow, that was beautiful. The head bob into sidestep Y. Hitting the arm. That's a perfect angle by Piper. And Piper with the retreat cut, but that actually opens him up for the thrust. And this is actually a really even fight. Sinister doing a good job. Unorthodox sword play, but it's working out in his favor. Unorthodox in the sense that Laswell players don't play like that usually. Thrust to go. Oh, it misses, and Piper just keeps going. That's what you gotta do with Alex. And very good effort by Sinister, but it's hard to recover from that thrust if you miss. So that should be 7-6 for Piper. Sinister didn't get revenge, but it was still a very good fight. He came very close. Okay, we got Maltese against Tau now. And I just realized I don't really need to ping you, Tau, but oh well. It's just an impulse. And there's Maltese. Alright. By the way, at about round 4, I think we'll take a break. Just a 5-minute break. Nothing long. It's actually kind of hot here. It's 23 or something right now. 23 degrees Celsius. For this time of year, it is quite warm. Alright, Maltese on the left, Tau on the right. Yeah, that was a good fight. Looks like they're ready to go. Tau on the right. There we go. Tau going with Zera. Multi's going with Calc. His Calc is tricky. Curious about how Tau will deal with it. Thrust attempt, but out of measure, and Tau immediately punishes it. Tau is very good at punishing these out of measure attacks. He sees the opponent make the slightest mistake and immediately capitalizes. Both being quite patient. Thrust out of measure by Tau, but it's really to get a feel of things, to sort of bait. It wasn't as high commitment, so he was able to recover just fine. Sidestep by Multi's nearly hitting. That was risky for both of them. And there's a trade of thrusts. Like the stream because of Celsius. Thank you, Kerosene. Yeah, in Canada we use a mix of imperial and metric measurements, but as far as temperature, Celsius is what we use, and we do not even bother with Fahrenheit. So, I think Celsius is way better, personally. But anyway, some of it I guess depends on what you grow up with. There's a strike to the head. As I've said before, like 0 makes a lot of sense. It's, it's freezing or melting point, and then 100 degrees Celsius, really easy to remember, is the boiling point of water. So don't hate on Imperial. I mean, I do think pounds and feet are fine as far as like measuring people and animals. I think those small units are kind of convenient. But as far as scientific accuracy, kilograms are better, I think. And I like kilometers at the larger scale more than miles personally, but we do use feet, and most Canadians will prefer pounds if you're measuring the weight of people. Unless it's in like a scientific setting, at which point you would use kilos. I kind of just use them interchangeably. As we've been speaking here, Tao has just been on a roll. Tao is probably mad that I spent more time talking about the metric system and the imperial system than the actual fight, but that rage played well for him here. And that's a flawless win for him. Unless you count the double, of course, but... Oh, I almost clicked report score there. Let's not do that. Alright, Luck, you're gonna be fighting me next. Gonna be looking for some revenge, because obviously we met in a recent tournament. And I did win, but Luck is a really tough saber specialist, so I definitely cannot underestimate him whatsoever. He knows how to defeat me, and I know how to defeat him, so anybody's game. Good luck. Yeah, good to see he's using Yon there, his main. And this should be quite the spectacle. It's really 50-50 at this point. Yeah, I agree, man. So good luck. I was ready with long guard though. I think if you went with the cut from that, it would have worked and it would have been anybody's game. But really good comeback there. I thought I had it like completely in the bag, but you put up a really good fight there. Longer than expected. All right. All right, Maestro, I hear you. And good game luck. So that is actually 7 to 5. Very close. I almost gave myself 75. Let's not do that. Okay, Maestro against Maltese. We're gonna have to skip that. So actually, Tao, you're coming in next. Maestro will have to do a bunch of fights in a row. That's his punishment for being late. So come on in, Tao. I don't even need to ping you. Now let me just check the YouTube chat here. I wasn't looking at it during the fight. Yeah, good games, Luck. Definitely 50-50. It's a matter of who reads who the best, I think. Because we know each other so well, and I could tell you were countering my thrust with those upward cuts, too. That was really well done. Our fight is very much always a dance of death, I find. That's how I would describe it. Okay, Tao on the left, I'm on the right. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel or anything, I'll just stick with my main. He's going to go with Zera, so good luck, Tao. If I wasn't ready with that cut, though, you surely would have baited something out or something. So that was a really good try. A good fight. Whew. Okay, so that's 7-6, I believe. And we got luck in here again, actually, against Piper this time. That's exciting, because you think I dance with Alex. Piper does some amazing things with those head bombs. Okay, luck is in. Okay, Piper. And Piper, you get the left. Luck will get the right. A lot of those matches against Zera came down to me being able to set up a really good hit to the head. That's something Alex is pretty reliable at killing with. But I had to make sure I wasn't really trading with Zera. If I trade with Zera, that's not good. In some instances, I can get away with that, but generally speaking, Zera will do better at that. So I had to set up clean hits to the head and clean punishes. He did really good at when it came to trying to get around my auto guard. Had to react to some of those stabs. Anyway, Piper on the left, Luck on the right. Good strike to the... I think it was more the shoulder by Piper. And that upward cut, that's a very lethal move against Alex. By no means broken, it leaves him exposed in some ways, but it is a really good move for punishing attacks and for getting around the auto guard. There's a stab feint by Luck, but he's tired after that because he got hit. Piper, I think he recovered for a second, Luck, but Piper just kept attacking Luck. Spent that little bit of stamina, I think, or something. Stab by Luck. That's something Luck has to watch, how much stamina he spends with that style of his, that trademark style, but it works really well. You have to learn to figure out when he's going to stab, when he's going to cut, regardless of what you see him doing, because he does a lot of trickery, actually, with those moves. Piper doing really good with the spacing. That's also crucial when you fight Luck, or anybody for that matter, but I think Luck in particular. Corkscrew, he retreats with the cut after Piper thought he had a counter set up. Corkscrew is really tricky because you think you can counter it. Oftentimes, you can't in the way you think you can. And that's a stab to the arm. No kill, but the corkscrew goes all the way through. Very lethal move against Alex as well. Jan definitely has the tools in this matchup. Piper has to play really precise here. And Piper moves into that attack. Unfortunately, that reduced his stamina. Luck goes on the attack. Piper holding up his guard, barely hanging on. Lunges forward, low on stamina though. Oh, and then a stab to the arm by Luck. That's a really quick thrust there you have to be wary of. Good feinting there. Luck throws a cut this time. That's the tricky thing. You gotta kind of deduce what he's trying to do. He cancels often at this different attacks. And so Piper is showing some good arena control here, but Luck kind of wants him to do that. He wants him to keep coming in so he can set up an incoming attack. But at the same time, Piper has a slightly shorter sword. Alex, I think, is better in the pocket. So Piper kind of wants to get close at the same time. So I get why he's doing what he's doing, and it's not wrong. It's just you got to be careful with that footwork. Because Luck will slip a blow in if you're not careful. And that was nice high-low by Piper. Piper's been trying to introduce that a bit into his game, too. It's high risk, high reward, I would say. Nice combo of the two upward cuts. But if you make it work, it looks beautiful. And there's a thrust under the guard with the curve that was nicely done by Luck. No kill, but it did a significant number on that stamina, and Piper is going to lose this battle of attrition unless he changes something, and unfortunately Luck, with a perfect corkscrew thrust, finishes the fight. That is 7-3. I'm getting better at paying attention to that stuff now that I'm more used to it. So that's good. I remember when I switched the scoring system to this, it was slightly challenging at first, but I figured it out. So Sinister against Kerosene. I'm curious how this one will go. If Sinister will use his main game plan or if he will try something else. These two are slightly unorthodox, at least as far as if you compare them to other players, they're a bit unorthodox, but they've put on some good performances so far. Alright. Kerosene and Sinister. Sinister, you get the left. Kerosene, you get the right. And if I ever misspell your name again, Kerosene, I apologize. For some reason, I find it difficult, at least on the fly. I think I got it right, though, again. Yeah, so Sinister on the left, Kerosene on the right. Bit of a delay. That's how YouTube is. That's how it goes, especially if you're not, like, from here. I think that plays a role, too. So Kerosene going with Zera, and we're going to see a Laszlo, I think, from Sinister. So how will Sinister adapt to this different matchup? Will he go in with the same game plan? Will he adapt the game plan to the opponent? Wonder what he's going to do. Kerosene's very different from many of those eras he might be used to fighting too, so really curious matchup. Big cut by Kerosene, big stab. He actually gets a graze hit there. That big cut forces a double, thankfully for Kerosene. That was a precise cut on Sinister's part. It was just the timing was such that Kerosene was able to force a double. Kerosene very patient again. Goes for a thrust that almost landed. Very good try. Stab. And there's a cut from Kerosene. Bit slow. I think he was tired there is what happened. And so Sinister gets away with it. It's kind of fitting that Sinister's on the left, because that's left in Latin. There's a stab. Another thrust. He's setting up another thrust, but he's waiting. He's waiting. He goes for another thrust. There's no kill. Oh, man. Kerosene has to react to it somehow. He has to long guard or something. Goes for a counter thrust attempt, and that cut just doesn't have enough momentum to carry through. And so Sinister, after a bunch of stabs, takes this flag. So we're seeing the same plan from Sinister, but he is adapting it to his opponent. He's not engaging the blade directly. He's waiting for whiffs, and then he's punishing them. That's a smart way to use the stabs if you're able to do so. And that was a graze to the face. He probably could have followed it up with something else, but he's actually being very patient. Sometimes against Zera it's tricky, so I don't blame him. And there's the Zwerchow by Kerosene finally getting to the side there and hitting the head. I think Kerosene might be overthinking this a little bit. I think the stabs should be easier for Zera to deal with. And there's a cut. Alright, so I think we're going to start to see Kerosene adapt. He is a pretty good player. That sidestep that was tried had had some short range there. And finally, that counter thrust is set up and lands. He's on 200 ping. Yes, that's worth noting. Yeah. 200 plus ping because he's in Korea. He does have good internet, but there comes a point where the distance is just so great that no matter what your internet, there's going to be some kind of disadvantage. But nonetheless, Kerosene is coming back. He's really Counter-Strike focused in a way that a lot of even Zera mains really aren't. So There's another stab. I think Sinister could benefit from some more cuts. There's a kick. He barely was too slow, but Kerosene's tired. He goes for a stab. Very unorthodox Blaslow play, but it works. It works in this round. I'm not saying that to insult him, by the way. It's neat to watch the way he plays Blaslow. But that's a stab trade, and Kerosene will tend to win those with Zera. Big cuts by Kerosene. Unfortunately, that cut again, that sidestep has short range, so Sinister has to be careful. The idea is very good, though, what he's trying to do there with those sidesteps, and finally gets a cut to the hand. Sidestep almost takes the hand also. I think Kerosene was close to getting a hit. And those stabs again. Those stabs connect. You wouldn't think you'd be able to chain them together because they're kind of high recovery, but they stun just enough that you can potentially if your opponent isn't on the ball. That Zwirch misses. That's so unfortunate for Kerosene. Idea was solid, but Zera just swung too high. Kerosene with the high guard cut, but oh man. Sinister forcing the double just in time. That was a very good try by Kerosene. That's a really satisfying move to get a kill with if you can. Kerosene being patient. Fishing for a counter. Oh, there's the thrust, but it's too close. And so Kerosene... I think I kind of predicted this, but these two would be pretty even. So I wonder who's going to win now. Setting up a thrust, perhaps. Trying to defend against the thrust. Kerosene also throws plenty of those. Dodges the thrust. Dodges the Zwirch. Oh, in the pocket. Zwirch out again. And I think Sinister was a bit tired there. And so Kerosene was able to get past the guard. No problem. Kerosene wins at 7-6 there. That was really close fight. Alright. Luck against Tau now. We're going to move straight to round 4. Let's see if Maestro has said anything. No. Okay, so Tau. And there you go, Luck. Luck, you're going to get the left side, by the way. If Maestro doesn't show up, this round should be pretty quick. We'll take a break, and then I'll come back. Maestro has told me he's away, so I'm not going to penalize him for that. Wait, what? Don't know what I just did there, but I just X'd out of it, so we should be fine. Alright. Let me just set up the names. Tau. Alright. Pretty excited for this one. Who's Luck gonna use, though? By the way, Luck, nobody's banned. Just FYI. Nobody is banned. If you want to go down the dark path, you can. The only thing you'll sacrifice is potentially your reputation, but I won't judge here. Here, we're in a tournament for a title, so you can do whatever you need to do. There have been talks about banning Yazuk, but nobody's really committed to voting for it yet, so we'll see where the wind blows. For now, he's fine. But he goes with Barabash. I'm really happy to see that. Going with one of his mains. I think you get the best quality play when players use their mains anyway, so it's always good to see that. Regardless of who's strong, who isn't, and all the rest of that. Yo, RNA. There's a stab from Tao, punishing the fact that Luck was sort of doing a lot of moving around with his blade, but not really threatening him a whole lot. So Tao was just able to shoot in and stab him. That's one of the best times to attack, when your opponent is sort of doing a bunch of feints, doing a bunch of switching of the guard, and is not really actively defending or threatening you. Combination by Luck there. Got tagged a little bit, but gets away with it. Downward cut doesn't quite beat the blade in time. It's also difficult to beat a longsword down in this game. Some cuts by Tao and a bit of an exchange. Sidestep by Luck, and actually Tao gets the better end of that. They both did trade a bit, but I think Tao's hit just ended up being more convincing. Thrust by Tao, block moves back. That's a good move, and then a stab to the head using the curve of his blade. So Luck is ahead now. Both of these players are really skilled at this point. Luck might just be a champion, not a senior master, but I honestly think he has it in him to become a legend, in fact, if he puts his mind to it. Don't let the titles fool you. Luck is one of the best Saber players in the server. And he's showing it here. All it is just that Luck hasn't been here as long as the others, so. Shoots in with the B cut, and actually Tao possibly is tired, or slow guard. I think Luck's a little unsure. I think he was legitimately tired, though. Zera can feint with low guard to make it look like he's tired. And if he recovers, he can do a quick retreat Y or something. So I don't blame Luck for playing it very safe, calculated, and then going for that lunge in with the B cut. And it seems to get around his guard pretty well with that exposed elbow. Thrust a bit out of range, just a little bit, and Tao gets a stab. Good attempt by Luck, but Tao has been very good at punishing those sorts of attacks. The ones that are just a little bit out of measure, they leave you open. And again, there we go. We see that on display, that upward cut to the hand. Calculated, very precise by Tao. Stab to the face. Once again, Luck makes the same mistake. An attack out of measure, but doesn't have a suitable follow-up. Luck has to be careful. Tao is getting a lead. And now Luck punishing an attack out of measure. That's nicely done by him. A little bit of a snap cut, testing the guard, harassing Tao a lot. That's something Luck is very good at. Makes you feel uneasy. He's constantly harassing you, but Tao just marches forward with it's not a windmill, it's a YX combo. People often confuse that with the windmill, because it is a type of windmill, what he's doing. It's not a wrong term. It's just in the game, it's not called that. The windmill is actually the downward Y into false edge cut with Zero, so. Which is also a type of windmill, so it's not wrong either. YX into retreat Y, and Luck was exposed thanks to that action he was performing, and Tao actually takes it. Pretty close fight though, guys. Admittedly, a kind of a tough matchup for Bara, but definitely doable. Alright, Maltese against Sinister, I believe, unless Maestro is here. Should have went Yazzie. Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to win this, you totally could. You totally could, man. Alright, Maltese and Sinister. Every time I back Y lands, a kitten dies. Also, welcome, Venator. Good to see you in the chat. Okay, so Maltese, you're going to be on the left, Sinister on the right, and Kerosene and Piper be ready, because I don't think Maestro will show up right after this match, so just be ready to fight. If Maestro does show up, though, we will have him do his fights. Okay, so Multi on the left, Sinister on the right. And everyone has a gamepad, which has made things pretty easy too. Not that I mind keyboard, it's just it's so much easier to get people in and get started when we have gamepads only. Okay, so Multi on the left, Sinister on the right. Sinister has, again, an unorthodox style of Laszlo, but I think his unorthodox style will really help him against Calc here. Because he's going to be looking to land that point and to defend against any incoming thrusts from Calc, thanks to his use of Long Guard. So I think he knows how to win this matchup. He does a similar thing to what Venator does. Sometimes he alternates between Long Guard and Neutral Guard all the time. Maltese, though, calls him out on it. He's not threatening him. He's not ready to guard, so he just stabs him. Something Sinister will have to contend with is that reach advantage. That thrust can kind of negate it sometimes, but it's still definitely there. Thrust attempt doesn't quite land, but keeps Sinister at bay. Sinister needs to find a way to close in. It's really his best way to win, as well as getting some of those thrusts to land. So that's a double there. Thrust attempt doesn't land, but it was close. Sinister trying to counter, almost hitting the arm there. They're definitely fighting from the maximum range here. That thrust, unfortunately, went over the shoulder. And that's a thrust, but also a cut to the head. So it's a double. They both saw a kill shot and they went for it. And that's often why people double. Sinister getting close, but he doesn't cut downward. He cuts upward, which might have been a bit of a mistake, but he follows up with the stabs. Kind of reminds me of the Koala meme where Koala just said another thrust, another thrust, another thrust. That's sometimes what he does. Upward cut, but out of measure. And it's punished immediately by Malt. This match might last a while. Yeah, they are kind of patient. Thrust attempted to the leg, but it doesn't quite land. That sidestep cut, it's powerful, but it has minimal range. There's a thrust, another thrust. It doesn't land. Doesn't take advantage of the fact that Malt is tired, though, probably fearing being stabbed. And there's a stab to the body. The problem is if you stay too far away of Laszlo, your options are a bit limited, and while your options are limited and you're sort of just standing there, Malt has all these options to pick you apart with his range. So it's good that Sinister's using that point, but I think Sinister should also mix it up a bit. Try and close in with some cuts. Make use of that speed that he's got. Unfortunately, that cut just leaves him open. Good parry, but Sinister doesn't really follow it up. And he got stabbed a little bit. Parried by Multi. They get very close, but they kind of freeze up, and that actually results in a double. I think that was Sinister's chance to get a point there, but he didn't take it in time. Upward slash and the thrust, that's a good combo. Or I should say upward slash and the thrust, I think. I think there's a bit of a blade away stance from Sinister for a moment, but he stopped it. Sinister definitely staying a bit too far away for most of his attacks to have any effect. That stab almost lands, but it's followed up with another stab. And Malt takes it 7-1. Let me just check if Maestro's here. Okay, Kerosene against Piper. Let's move on to that. Maestro is not here. Pick Marta. Yeah, Marta is actually a decent pick against Yazuk. They're in the Discord there. They're talking about using Yazuk and how strong he is, how to beat him, that sort of thing. Okay. So Kerosene, you'll get the left. Piper will get the right. Let me just get rid of Sinister. I don't hate you, Sinister. It's just that we gotta free up as much space as we can to just ensure these fighters get the best experience they can. It'd be great if we could have all of you in and just ready to fight, but... Oh, whoops, I don't did that on impulse there. It's actually Kerosene, yeah. Very opposite fighters here. Kerosene is more static. He likes to set up single tempo parries while... Oh, I think I somehow... I don't know how that happened, but I think I clicked right away. Just in case. It was highlighted for some reason, even though my cursor wasn't on it. Yeah, it's because Yazuk doesn't obey the game mechanics the same way other characters do. That's really what it comes down to. It's not that he's too powerful so much as he's broken. Yeah. But he's not banned. Let's be clear about that. We're not banning him yet. I think I've de facto banned him from my spars though. I just don't enjoy fighting him. Maybe if I feel like it on a certain day though I won't care, but yeah. It's just in a spar I'm looking to have fun and relax. I'm not looking to be sweaty, you know. But in a tournament, knock your socks off for now. You can do whatever you need to do to win. You suck, so it evens out. Yeah, it could still even out. If you make mistakes with him, at least, it's still possible to beat him, so... It's not as if he's impossible. It's just not fun to play against. Okay, some feinting going on. Piper head bobs, moves to the side. That's very smart against Zera. Gets another kill. Piper doing really good against Kerosene Zera. Thrust attempt by Kerosene, but gets punished. He's kind of static with his movements, and I think Piper is picking him apart because of that. Oh, Piper's head bobbing to the side, but Kero was just waiting to get a perfect Zwirchow to that head. Upward slash. Reminder that Kero is from Korea too, so that definitely plays a role. Oh, Piper missed with that first cut. But he finally got it. That was probably a bit scary for him when he missed that first time. Going low, but I think he's trying to provoke. He's trying to see what his opponent does. Long guarding to defend that thrust, but gets beat down. Bit of a cut to the head. Thrust gets to the side. Push, but Zera blocks it. He's blocking some of those cuts, but he couldn't block them all. That's good to see. And that's the sort of stuff I'm talking about when I say you can get around auto guard. If you attack from different angles, you don't attack the same angle, especially against someone like Zera at that close range where Zera is not very good. compared to some other characters anyway, you can get some good results. And so Piper takes it. It is 7-1 actually. That is a more dominant performance than I expected, but Piper's been on fire this tournament, so definitely a tough opponent. And with that, we're going to take a short break, 5-minute break, and then we'll get to round 5, 6, and 7. See you then. Hopefully Maestro is on by then so we can do his matches. We'll do those matches first if he comes on. Otherwise, we'll just continue on. All right, so I'm back, guys, but we'll give the people, the participants, some more time to take their breaks. I did say 5 minutes, and I've been gone for less than that, so we'll give them like 2 minutes or so, and then we'll get Kerosene and Maltese in here, and we'll continue. We'll wait for Maestro in that time as well. I don't think I see him at all, so yeah, so some disagreement there in the chat, but I think Yazek is definitely broken. It comes down to the fact that his snap cuts are really hard to defend against. What else? He doesn't need any rotation, any power buildup to do any damage with his cuts. He just has a lightsaber that he can flick anywhere he wants and you get killed. He has high recovery. His speed eclipses anybody else in the game. His reach is actually really good thanks to his lunges. And he trades really well with just about anyone, regardless of what cut he picks. He blocks everything too. His tip is able to block a longsword, even with like a millimeter of blade. Everything about Yazlik is broken, so that is how it is. You can still punish a Yazlik player who makes a huge mistake, but it's ridiculous. He can block whatever blow he wants with just the smallest bit of the tip of his blade. I've seen it happen with Alex and even Zera, and it's crazy what he can do. He does have a lot of complex moves, and with the right nerfs, I think he'll be an amazing character. And I do like how he's kind of a hybrid between Gideon and Samuel with his own tricks, but those tricks need to be nerfed. That's really what it comes down to. Anyway, let's not turn this whole video, this whole stream into a rant about Yazek. He's not going to be used a whole lot in this tournament anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, anyway. The 5 minutes has elapsed. Let's get Kerosene and Maltese in here. Oh yeah, Kerosene's my... Oh, maybe just click the link, actually. That could be too. Okay, Maltese. Anyway. Just putting my thoughts in the chat there. Let's move on. Kerosene. Let me just check again. Yeah, you get the left side. So I actually don't have to change anything. Interesting. Maltese are on the right. And let's get started. Maestro's not here, so we're just going to carry on. If Maestro's not here by the time the tourney ends, I guess we just got to end it. Can't wait for him forever. So if he's a complete no-show, then it is what it is. I hope he shows up, though. I would rather not. Maltese has used Yendrick before, so it's a bit of a surprising pick. But I think he's not confident with Calc against Zera, so... Strike to the head from Kerosene. Yendrick is definitely a bit 50-50, a lot of people will say, but in skilled hands, he's lethal against Zera. A push attempt like that gets punished. Pushing is very difficult in this version of the game, as it should be. It definitely does work, but you gotta time it just right, otherwise you're dead. Hooked, but it doesn't get the kill after. That was beautiful, but... Oh, man. Kerosene hanging in there and gets another kill. I was just glancing down at the YouTube chat, but I saw that, and that hook, and that looked really beautiful. Oh, a bit of a pause there. Everybody good? Maltese, you good? Long guard if you're good? Yeah. I think that was an accidental pause. I think you guys can continue. Or it could have just been a small leg spike. That happens as well. That's a strike there from Kerosene. Alright, strike to the leg from Kerosene, another kill. And Maltese might have made a mistake here. Perhaps Calc would have been the better pick, actually. And guys, I see you chatting in the Discord. Let's chat in the YouTube chat. so I don't have to look between two chats, you know? Would really appreciate it. There's a strike to the body by Maltese getting his first kill. Yendrick needs a bigger axe. I don't think he does. And the thing is, if it gets any bigger than this, it'll start getting kind of overpowered. We don't want a pole arm. We want a sidearm sized axe. So you move chat. Okay. Alright, and there's a strike from Kerosene. Shortened spear or halberd would be cool. No, that would be blatantly overpowered. The Folkosh is perfect. It's balanced. It fights evenly with swords for the most part. Halberd or spear would just be completely broken and would be banned immediately because if you've ever watched spear against halberd, you know, a spear against a sword or anything like that, the spear always wins. So pretty much always wins. But the thing is, if it's a spear, it has a reach advantage by default now. So if it's a two-handed spear, by virtue of being a spear, it'll be way too overpowered. With a cutoff handle, I'm not sure any spears had handles like that. So I don't think that's how. I don't think that would work. It's very hard to cut through a wooden haft naturally. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Luck, but it takes a long time to produce these characters. So we'd be waiting like tons and tons of months if you wanted all the characters out at once. I think it's better to release them one by one. Hopefully we get them in a batch this time around so that it's not a huge deal, but dual Shamshire, that was done. That could be pretty cool. It's been years. It's been 2 years, yes, but he's released them pretty consistently throughout those years. It'll be even more years. Like, you'll probably be waiting, give or take, 1 or 2 years for all the characters, if we did it that way. So, a javelin. I don't think we want ranged weapons in the game. Ooh. And here's the thing, all spears are ranged weapons, too. That's something that people often forget. The very fact that a spear can be thrown, unlike a sword. Well, you can throw a sword too, but let's face it, a spear is easier to throw. Um, just that fact alone already adds a huge dynamic to the fight. Some kind of parry javelin throw, but it's a reaction. Naginata, that would be overpowered. And I don't say that just because to please the weebs or anything. Not that I care about pleasing them, but because a glaive would just be stupid overpowered. A glaive would just be so overpowered. It's a cool ass weapon though, and you know what? As much as I say we shouldn't have polearms in this game, if we got a game like this with polearms, that would still be really cool. And I think it could be a cool boss idea. So there is that. I hope we get a game like this with polearm play, like a Hellish Quart 2, but with polearms. That would be really cool. Great swords, polearms, that sort of thing. That'd be a lot of fun. Alright. So I get why people want polearms. I just think they'd be really overpowered and whatnot. So, but in a different game for sure. In a different game for sure. Yeah, but the swords would still be outclassed by the polearms. That's the problem. The polearm is a way better armored fighting weapon than a sword will ever be. So, sword and shield you can go against polearm. Yeah, but if it's an but the polearm still usually has the advantage. I'd still bet on the polearm over the sword and shield, especially if you introduce armor. It's very hard to jam a sword into armor. Alright, so Sinister, you're on the left, by the way. Sorry, I was just getting tied up in a YouTube chat. And I'll go with the drip outfit, why the hell not? I like both of the outfits, honestly. This one reminds me a little bit of Hussar outfit. Chinese, the gun is the same as the spear. Yeah, there's a fire lance, right? Yeah, you can get close to try and wrestle, but the pole arms are much better. Well, yeah, exactly. When you have pole arms, you can switch to your sidearm anyway. Anyone with a pole arm is also a swordsman. And that's the issue anybody with a sword would face. Like, even if you close him down, he pulls out his sword, then he kills you. So, um, he's better armed than you objectively by having a pole arm. Because no one goes into a fight with just a pole arm. Nobody who's smart, anyway. Anyway, I gotta focus. Is that your strategy to stop me from winning the fight, the tournament, guys? If so, that's actually a really good strategy. I gotta focus. I'm obviously joking, but... Yeah, keep distracting me. Alright, I'll focus on the fight, though. And good fight, Sinister. You're actually really tricky to fight for me because I only have one stab to really challenge your stab. And it's not very long range, so that was really good use of it. And it's definitely not the type of style you want to fight when you're distracted, like the chat was doing to me. I'm not blaming you guys, by the way. That's all on me for not looking. So, anyway. What was that? 7 to 5, right? I'm ignoring you. Yep. Yep. I've caught on to your tactic. It was 7 to 5 though, right? I wasn't like paying super close attention. Yeah, 7 to 5. All right. I just checked. And we got Piper against Tau now. Piper handily defeated Kerosene, I believe. So, yeah, 7 to 5. It was a very good fight. I don't believe I need to ping you, Tau, so I'll just ping Piper. You can go ahead and join. And don't worry, guys. I'll look at what you were chatting earlier. Bleach is such a good trying to distract me with Bleach. That's funny. Historical chat about Bleach. Oh man. You just failed to catch the mosquito right in front of your hand, and that shows that you're bad at the game. Or why you're bad at this game. I asked you to move the chat. That's also true. Yep. So that's all on me, isn't it? Alright, alright. Piper against Tau. We've been flying through this tourney. I think this might be the fastest one I've done in recent times. We had a slight technical problem at the beginning, but I think that was just slowness. It wasn't really an issue as such. So let's keep it up. You're experimenting with extreme prejudice. You mean the mosquitoes, yeah. Okay, so Sinister on the left. Oh, sorry, not Sinister, hang on. Piper on the left, Tau on the right. I confused myself because YouTube on my phone is a bit delayed. So I saw the other two names there. Alright. Yeah, so Piper on the left, Tau on the right. Alex against Zera again. Alex does have some gaps in his defense, but the fact that that sword is located where it is really does help him. So if you get his footsies right, that's really key. You gotta master those footsies. If you don't, Zera is gonna just destroy you. And you can't be too passive. You gotta make the fight a bit dirty with Alex. You gotta brutally punish any small mistakes Zera makes, while still being aware of what he's capable of. You don't want to overdo it. And that was an interesting tactic by Piper to cut low, and I think Tau did the low guard, not intending to block it necessarily. It might have been, though. If it was, I'm very impressed. I'd be curious to know, Tau. But all the same, that low guard actually is what caught it, and that was actually really cool to see. There's a manual block against that low cut effectively. There's a thrust. Piper gets a slight hit as well. That helps. Zera's stamina management is not the best. Sidestep cut, crisp, but Tau gets a bit of a lightsaber swing in the end there. To be clear, all characters are capable of lightsaber swings as well. It just happens less with most of them than it does with the new addition to the roster. Usually it only happens in these doubles for most characters, whereas Yazoo can just do it anytime he wants. Good cut combination by Piper for his first kill. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Yazik. That's just how it is. I defeated you, so I don't have to worry about him anymore. I don't think. Alright, sidestep by Tau, getting a better position. Piper was able to get a slight hit. By the way, I think Yazik is a cool character. Let's be clear about that. I only hate him because of how broken he is. When I first played him, I thought he was really cool, but then I realized, oh man, he's really broken. So, I will say that. It's not that I hate him as a character, if that makes sense. I think in the novels he's a pretty compelling character too, from what I've read about him. There's an upward cut. You only use him on Zera anyway and himself. Yeah, if someone were to use Yazik, I'd probably use Yazik as well. Alright, there's a double. Tau is remaining ahead in this fight, but Piper is not out of it yet. Tau is less static, I would say, and that's making it more difficult for Piper to deal with him. And Tau definitely has fought my Alexander plenty at this point. He knows that those upward cuts, for instance, are a very good tool. Piper has to be ready for those. If he's in the middle of an action in particular, those upward cuts will land every time. And that's a lucky double for Piper, I would say. Yeah, exactly. He's buggy. That's the main issue I have. It's like he ignores the rules of the game, you know? That's so. Anyway, I don't want to keep chatting about him. Tao gets another kill. Yeah, Yazlik. Yep, exactly. Push by Tao, showing us the push does work if your opponent turtles up, and turtling up is the last thing you want to do against Zera, really. You want to be active. And Piper pays the price there. That is, I believe, 7-3. Yeah, just verifying it. That's one of the good things about YouTube being delayed is I can look back and pretty quickly see if my impression of the score is correct. It's being called the Thanksgiving Tournament, Maestro, because it's Thanksgiving in Canada. I could put Canadian Thanksgiving, I suppose, but it's a bit long, I think. Embrace the delays. Yeah, that's one of the. It's actually kind of nice as a host. I don't have to like scroll back because it's awkward on the phone to do that. I think if I was more professional, I would have like a second monitor to do that or something, but yeah, I use the phone as my second monitor, so that's how we do it. Okay, so Luck is in. We're just waiting for Sinister. Kerosene, be ready. You're going to be fighting me next if Maestro doesn't pop up. I saw him in the Discord chat, but I'm not sure if he's actually ready. Game sounds are a bit low. Yeah, that's kind of by design. I prefer my voice to be to take precedent, but if it's really really quiet, I can change that quickly. What do you guys think? Is the game too quiet, or is it just Tao? Sometimes hearing some of the sword clangs is kind of nice. If you're not hearing any of that, then noteworthy. I have the music disabled, by the way, so you're not supposed to hear the music if that's what you're talking about. Okay. Luck, you're on the left. Sinister on the right. How to beat Tao? It's kind of a tough question actually. Tao is a tough opponent for sure. Um, I always say let the swords tell you what to do. Don't go in with a don't go in with a plan, you know. And yeah, what Tao's saying there, like definitely get in the pocket, make it dirty. Um, challenge Zera, yeah. Respect his blade, but don't respect it too much. That's really good advice, I think, by Tao. And punish his mistakes relentlessly. But what I would also say is be ready to adapt to what Tao is doing, because Tao knows how to counter a lot of that stuff too. A lot of that advice. So when I say let the swords tell you what to do, I mean just adapt your style to what's going on. There are times where you will want to be a bit more counter strike. Don't turtle up though. Whatever you do, do not turtle up. But don't be afraid of Zera. But sometimes you need to punish his whiffs and focus more on that. And you're making sure your guard is solid, your footwork's solid so that you're out of the way. You don't want to focus too much on your auto guard, otherwise Zera will eventually crash through. But another thing you can do is when you see Zera being a bit passive, you can shoot in with certain attacks. Focus on the side steps to get around the guard, and the stab can also get around the guard. Back Y is actually bad versus Alex because it hits your high guard. Yeah, it is actually. It can be bad. It's good only if you can provoke a counter from Alex to hit with the back Y. That said, though, it can also be punished because Alex has a D guard, and the way he cuts, that hand protection can sometimes protect him from that back Y. So that's another thing Alex has in his favor, and he swings right for the head. But if you use that retreat Y as a really good bait, that can be a move that Alex has to watch out for. Yeah, so as Tao is saying here, it hits only if you attack, yeah. More or less. Anyway, let's focus back in the fight here. Luck with some varied attacks, I think. Sinister struggling to come up with a plan. I think Sinister has to throw some more cuts and really get that spacing down. If he doesn't get his spacing down, Luck's going to hit him eventually. Yeah, Luck's just picking him apart. And that cut sent his hat flying. Basic strat getting close enough to land that thrust and kill with a slash. Yeah, that's one. Just be aware that if you do stab, that is a point where Zera can do the retreat Y, in fact, I find. That is a point where you're vulnerable to certain side steps and whatnot. So you just gotta, don't play selfishly. Keep in mind that Zera is obviously going to be trying to counter your counters to him too, so. But yeah, that's the basic strat, I think. Grapple from Luck to finish it. The hat went over the fence. Yeah, it just went, I don't know where it went. It went very far into the void there. Home run for Luck. Yeah, and he cut that head off, so. And you can see here, I'm looking at it back. I was kind of looking at the chat during that, but Luck tried to go for a grab, and then he kept marching forward, even with Sinister's thrusts. He just did not care about those stabs at all. Was not afraid of them, and it paid off. So 7-1. And let's get Kerosene in here. I don't think Maestro's here. I didn't really get a ping. So let's accept that. I'll just check. Fake Thanksgiving. You're ready. All right, we'll get you in right after this, Maestro. Kerosene literally just entered, so please hold. I'll take the left side. And Maestro is going to have to do a bunch of fights in a row for being late. And that's just how it will be. So Maestro after this one. And good luck, Kerosene, by the way. This fight's going to be really important, I think. Especially if Maestro starts winning a bunch of fights. So in that sense, Kerosene does have a bit of pressure on him. If he wants to stop me from winning the whole thing. You know, Sinister actually came pretty close to stopping me too. I was surprised. But he was really tricky. Alright, good luck. So he got his playstyle to work there against me. I couldn't really do much there, I don't think, so that was well done. That could be decisive depending on how Maestro does and how the others have been doing. Let's have a look actually while we're here. So what did I get? I wasn't looking at the flags. I'll have a look back there. If anyone in the chat knows, feel free to point that out. I know it's a little delayed. I'm having trouble scrolling back. Hang on. Because like the slightest movement and it goes a bunch of seconds of how long the stream's been. Alright, well I'll play it. The kerosene definitely got 7. I actually don't know what I got though. I think I got what? 4? Let's go 4 for now. I'll change it. I'm looking at it back now. Let's continue for now with Maestro's games. I'll edit it as we need. It's 4. Yeah, okay. I remembered correctly somehow. And thank you, Luck. It's just the last thing on my mind when I'm in a match is like the exact score my opponent has, you know? I'm just focused on how close they are to winning. All right. So Maestro, you're fighting Sinister first. There you go. Let's have a look at the standings. Maestro, of course, could rise up. Tao has been doing really well, too. Tao has been, I defeated Tao, that's why I'm above him. But Tao is someone to watch as well. Tao has been doing a really good job this tournament. Luck is not that far behind, but has lost twice. Kerosene lost twice, but again, not far behind. Let's see where Maestro ends up. Sinister hasn't won anything, but he has been doing really well. He's just been a bit cursed, I guess. So let's see where this ends up going. Maestro on the left, Sinister on the right. And then you'll fight Kerosene right after this, Maestro, so stay in. Stay in until I tell you your fights are done, and then we'll just carry on. So my host has been really good. Hopefully Maestro doesn't have any issues. Maestro's been having some problems on my host on his end lately, so let's hope that changes. By the way, if Maestro beats me here, because he obviously he has to fight me as well, that could change things for sure. Worth noting, I have not defeated him, so there's still some question as to who will actually win this tournament. Okay, so Sinister, of course, with Laszlo. Thrust, but too close. I'm not sure how Maestro killed him, though. Sort of moved his face into the edge and it became a lightsaber. That's okay, though. Maestro obviously did a cut input, and, you know, if it went through, it would have still landed, so it's whatever. If he's lagging too bad, you can do fights on your host. Yeah, that's fine, Luck. We'll see how he's doing. That sounds good. So far, Maestro seems okay, though. His reaction time is quick. He's probably not used to this really thrust-centric style from Laszlo. I almost wonder why Sinister doesn't play Marie, with how much he likes stabbing. Marta's neutral X, invisible. Yeah. Some characters have moves like that. This isn't a Zero-only thing, to be clear. It's just, it looked particularly odd that time. Maestro throwing a bunch of stabs, but he's way too close. So no kill. Maestro should have done some cuts. He would have had the kill there just like that. Broke through. Never happened to you, though, yeah. Hunt over Zera. Zera always drunk, yep. Maestro still ahead, by the way. Sinister hasn't managed to land a point. And there's a cut. Sinister's guard is just not holding up to Maestro's attacks. Sinister's going to need to use some of that footwork. Maestro moving in. The push doesn't land, but he follows up anyway. That's because Sinister was starting up an attack, I think. So it's working as intended. Maestro with a thrust. Too far. There's a stab to the arm. Another stab. I don't know. I think Sinister needs to do some more cuts. These stabs just aren't cutting it. Maestro trying to get to the side. Sinister of good footwork, staying back. But again, thrust. He needs to cut to the head. And Maestro with a flawless win there. Yeah, I think Sinister really needs to do some cuts. Especially against Zera. Alright, Maestro, stay in. You're fighting Kerosene next. And Maestro, you fight Maltese after that. And then you fight me. So that's exciting. Okay, Kerosene, you'll get the left. Maestro will get the right. Yeah, pun intended, totally. Be better, go Jan, Luck says. I don't think Maestro's gonna heed that advice, though. I don't think Maestro should either. He's taking a liking to Zera, so... Jan Mir. Well, to be fair, Luck, whatever you think about Zera, Kerosene's also using Zera, so... I don't think you can fault Maestro for that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using Zera, by the way. Let's just be clear. Luck just has a grudge against him. Okay, so Maestro got a point in the opening there, and that's a double. There's a strike to the head by Maestro. Defeating Kerosene's attack. And there was a retreat Y from Maestro. All tip, I'm surprised that killed, honestly. So there's gonna be another flawless win for Maestro. That'd be crazy. High guard by Kerosene. Ooh, Maestro if this works, but too far away. One way or the other, Zera wins. I mean, I can't argue with that. Yeah, curse. Might have cursed Maestro there. And we see this sometimes in Zera mirrors in particular. We saw that twice this match. Zera deleting the other Zera's longsword. I don't know what exactly causes that bug. I guess they're holy powers. They're Quincy holy powers. I don't know. There's a stab, but a strike to the head by Kerosene. Kerosene holding up well, but a bit outmatched so far by one flag. There's a good thrust. Active defense. Maestro moved right into it. High guard. Kerosene blocking it, but can't follow up. Strike. Oh, they both hit each other. I think Maestro got the worst end of that, but still, it's anybody's fight. This flag probably will result in a double. That's my prediction. It's often what happens when both fighters are wounded. They get desperate. Oh, with Kerosene with the stab, that was actually beautiful. Maestro got a slight hit, but it wasn't a convincing one. Kerosene's been getting better and better as the tournament's been going, I think. And that's another good punish. Maestro got Kerosene against the wall there. Kerosene being very patient. Maestro with the upward cut. Nicely done by Kerosene. Maestro just opened himself right up, and Kerosene punished it. Upward cut by Maestro. Maestro opens himself up with these attacks, often out of measure. There's a cut to the hand. Good retreat cut by Maestro. I think Maestro just needs to work on striking in measure, and he will. I mean, it's a really even fight, don't get me wrong, but I think Maestro will even it up more that way. Good defense by Kero, using the thrust to do it, not the auto guard. And there's a stab, but Maestro actually got him in the body. Maestro rushing in with a push. There's a cut and another cut. Windmill. And Maestro actually takes it 7-6. Alright. And Maltese now. And Maestro on the left, Multi on the right. Okay. So who's Multi gonna use? Maestro able to move, good. Might have been just a slight lag spike there. Maestro going with Yazik. No, he's going with Zera, okay. Maltese is not sure though. I guess going with Calc though. I think that's the right pick. I didn't want to really give him advice as he was thinking. I wanted to see what he wanted to do before saying much, but I think Calc is his strongest character, so he should stick with Calc, even if it Seems like he's at a disadvantage against Zera. Retreat cuts from Maestro. Maestro out of measure, but I think he's trying to bait, is what he's doing. Trying to bait a counter so he can land a retreat cut. There's a good stab. Actually ran into the point, but... Yeah, Yendrick is in theory a good pick, but Multi struggled with Yendrick against Zera earlier. So I really think Calc is the right pick. And Multi a bit lucky there, a bit of a short-range thrust there gets a kill. Upward slash, but the blade is beat down by Maestro. Maestro on the attack, but he ran right into the point. Now he's tired. Multi has to be careful about punishing that, though. And he is. There's the thrust and the retreat cut. Holy stance. And he gets it. He baits Multi's out. Rushed by Maestro, but Multi was throwing a cut. And thus his hand got cut off. Really good performances by Maestro. Maestro with the low guard. I think that was a bait, and he actually didn't attack back, but he was far enough away. He just faced that thrust down like a badass. Did not care. Rushes in. That blade was just in the way of the thrust enough that he'd avoided the self-impale, but Maestro has to be careful of that. Maestro being very aggressive, but gets stabbed. He was cutting out of measure there. Maltese needs to take advantage of that. Maestro is disregarding defense completely, so Maltese just needs to strike for the correct angles to punish that. Yeah, again, the thrust out of measure gets punished. Retreat cuts from Maestro trying to bait. He's out of measure, and there's a thrust to the head. Nicely done by Maltese. Maestro rushing in. There's a good cut. There's a thrust by Maltese. And forcing a double of another stab. Maltese probably should have gone for a neutral cut or something, not a stab lunge like that. But he still forced the double. Even fight now that Maltese has scored some flags. Maestro of the thrust set aside. Maltese barely forcing the double with that big cut. Very intense fight actually here. Maltese actually on the offensive, but he opened himself right up with that cut out of measure. I think he was trying to sort of bait Maestro in and hit him, but Maestro delayed his attack enough such that that thrust just landed flawlessly. Retreat cut. And there's a stab right through the arm. Is Maestro gonna rush in? He does, but he gets stabbed. Again, disregarding defense, but it is scary, because Maestro will throw an attack right after that of some kind. The tough part might be predicting which one. Upward slash. Ooh, both of them land a cut. Maestro tired. Maltese actually not tired, but limping. This is intense thrust engagement there. I'm sure both of them will be happy with at least a double, but there's a stab to the arm. Maestro opening himself up. Very reckless by Maestro. He really wanted that kill. Some stabs. Oh, goes forward with the stab. I'm surprised that didn't land. Maestro nearly getting the not a windmill, it's the YX. And Maestro baiting there. He's drawn some blood. He's definitely confident. And Maestro gets the dominant position, and then he goes for the thrust. That was well done. 7-6. And Maestro, you're still fighting. You get to fight me now. Alright, and good luck, Maestro. Maestro Bay. Yeah, I just realized that sounded kind of funny. What's Maestro doing? Alright, I'll just go Isabella. Yeah, these mind games are pretty fun. I thought he was gonna go Saber, but I don't mind. Let's do a longsword fight. Our longsword fights are great. I was thinking about Isabella because Alex just wasn't really working against Taro, so this might be a gamble that might not play off, but we'll see. Excellent job. I was turtling up a bit, and you immediately capitalized, and you did a really good job of that. Turtling up was a mistake, but I wasn't really sure what else to do. So, but yeah, definitely a mistake. You need to find some other way to get in. You can't just defend. It doesn't work. But I just had nothing else, you know. Maestro was doing an excellent job. All right, let me. What was the score? Maestro obviously got 7. Yeah, I'm gonna say 7-5. Yes, yeah. I'm actually remembering it. It's just I need to trust my memory more. My memory is actually pretty good. All right, let's go. 7-5. Yeah, I just confirmed it. 7-5 in the stream. So okay, now we're back. Actually, no, Maestro, you still fight Luck here. Gotta get your kid for a sec. All right, we'll just skip your fight then. No problem. So Maltese against Piper. God, jeez. Good one, Luck. Just roasted Maestro. All right. Someone needs to beat him. Someone definitely needs to beat him. He's already ahead of me. I think he wins, in fact. And Tao's ahead of me now. That was pretty devastating loss, actually. Because that's a loss up here. If I had defeated him, I would have like 5, right? Or something. So that would have been great. But Maestro just came in and dominated the competition. So you could Yazak him. It's up to you, Luck. It's up to you. But for now, we're going to do Piper against Sinister. Wait, Piper disconnected. Why did everyone disconnect? Okay. People keep. I don't know what's going on with Parsec, but I think everyone's in again. Anyway, Maltese, you're on the left. And Piper, you're on the right. Now let me just do that. All right. Okay, so Piper on the right there. Maltese on the left. Piper moves in for a stab, but he doesn't really get blade control, so it doesn't work. And he opens himself up with that new move. It's a really good move, but it doesn't quite work. You told yourself no Yazard for this. Okay. Okay. Don't feel you have to. Don't feel you can't either. Alright? Just do what you feel like doing. And yeah, it might impact your reputation if you did, but I don't honestly don't put too much stock into that. If it's in the rules, you can do it. That's what it comes down to. And no one should give you crap about that, I don't think. Oh, he pushed the point, but that ended up resulting in a hit. Oh man. That's always embarrassing when you do that. You're just doing a push out of measure or something, or just trying to push your opponent in general, and your hand gets damaged because of that, whether it was on purpose or not. Piper opening himself up again. I think he has to be really careful of those thrusts. He's doing the right thing in that he's trying to close in. It's just, it's a challenge for sure for Alex. On the flip side, it's a big challenge for Calc if Alex does close in, as we saw there. So I think this is a very 50-50 matchup. They trade stabs there. Good blade beat, but Piper doesn't follow it up in time, and I think he tried to correct that mistake, but Maltese was too quick. By the way, Maltese has historically had issues with his controller. I'm really glad to see those have been, I think, resolved. Yeah, it's always good to see. And I know how frustrating that stuff can be from your end, so. Stab attempt. And Piper, yeah, he sees the opportunity there. He was just close enough, and he went right for it. That's what you need to do. As long as your opponent is not ready to stab you right back, that's what you should do. There's a stab through the arm. I think all the way through the shoulder, too. No kill, though. Two cuts. Quick succession there. Maltese is doing a good job, as is Piper. They're playing to their advantages. Piper beats the blade down, but again doesn't quite seize the opportunity. Perhaps he didn't expect the blade to be beaten down, and Piper's actually tired now. Maltese still being slow, methodical. There's a stab, but a cut to the leg causes Maltese to start limping. Another cut to the leg, and that was a perfect opportunity. When your opponent has lunged forward with a move, and the move has stopped, you can shoot down and hit the leg. And your opponent will not have a chance to leg void, and that's by design, because your opponent's already shot forward. Plus, Cal cannot leg void to begin with, because of the way his style works, so it's a good move. Hopefully you're both good. Yeah, I think you're both good. It's very easy to accidentally pause the game when you're really into it, so. Or it could have been a small leg spike, too. Oh, Piper hesitated slightly, but he still got a hit. And now Maltese is tired. Will Piper take the opportunity? Oh, his guard. Piper was just a bit too hesitant. And I get why Piper was, just because you don't want to be stabbed in the middle of your attack, which could happen if he recovers quick enough. And there's a thrust. Piper trying to beat it down. Stay safe. Good sidestep by Piper. Really proud of my student this tournament, I have to say. Whatever the result is, he's done really well in each of his fights, I think, for the most part. Big cuts, does not break through the guard, but he gets a bit of a punch. However, Maltese got a strike of his own. Good head bob to dodge those swings. Piper moving in, but he's a bit too far away still, actually, and Maltese gets the hit there. No, we're actually going to have a Thanksgiving dinner tonight, though. Thanksgiving's technically on Monday, but we're celebrating it slightly early this weekend, so. But we'll also have leftovers tomorrow, so. We got a ham, though, instead of a turkey, is what we're doing with mustard, is what we'll put on it. That'll be fun. Really tasty. Alright, so who won? I was looking. Maestro distracted me with the Thanksgiving comment. Malty, okay. Yeah, that's not surprising. Either one of them could have won that. Alright, let me just look at it back. I'm curious how it happened. Okay, so Piper moved in for the down forward Y, and then Maltese managed to defend it and hit him. Alright. Bro wanted the ham. Yeah, the ham is more important than the match. Oh, man. Okay. Is Maestro Maori? Autocomplete. Yeah. It doesn't like multi, I guess, the autocomplete. Alright, so Maestro is not here. So we're gonna have Sinister fight Tao now. Tao, you can just come right in. Oh no, he's here. Never mind, never mind. Don't come in, Tao. Actually no, come in because you're fighting Maestro, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, yeah. Or no, it's Luck. Luck. We skipped Luck. So Maestro and Luck. Good discipline by Tao to not come in. Light Splash from distance was very cool, yeah. Alright, they're both ready. Maestro on the left, Luck on the right. Alright, hopefully the ham doesn't distract me this time, the Thanksgiving dinner. Gotta get family in for that too, so that'll be fun. Who will Maestro go? I don't know. Probably Zara. Just judging from the trend. Oh, he's gonna be honorable and do the Yanmir. Okay. Ham is more successful than us at distracting. Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, you distracted me for a little bit with the fight there, but I was still fighting. But the ham, man, I couldn't even tell who won the match when you mentioned that. You lose to a ham. Yep, you do. Alright, so Luck with his signature style, Maestro with a more fundamental approach, both fighting within good distance of each other, just out of range. Good corkscrew thrust by Luck gets through Maestro's guard. And Maestro might start turtling up a little. Especially if that stamina being down. Luck actually staying back himself. Good job with the harassing of the guard. Maestro going for some cuts out of measure, and he gets punished for that. All he was doing was basically reducing his stamina there. He has to be a bit careful with that. Some cancels by Luck, and then a corkscrew thrust right through his guard again. Maestro needs to figure something out with that. Upward slash. And that works. Actually, Luck was going for the straight thrust, not the corkscrew thrust, so that turned out to be a good move. Especially in the pocket, those upward cuts sometimes are really nice. With many characters, in fact. Bit of an exchange. Corkscrew thrust does not hit. Maestro tries to punish, but Luck is quick to retreat back. Both are trying to snipe each other's hand, and Luck actually gets the hit. Luck committed where Maestro faltered a bit. And that's the fun part about this game, like choosing when to commit and when not to. And being careful not to overcommit. There's a lot of tactics that go into this. And I think that's something that Luck has really mastered. We're seeing here Maestro just doesn't have an answer for him. His guard cannot stand up to those attacks. He needs to figure something else out. Corkscrew thrust. There we go, using some of Luck's attacks. That might be the key. There's the snap cut. Corkscrew. Maestro beats it down with the cut. That might be the key. It's kind of tough because it lingers. So if you try cutting it to beat it down, you might still be hit. But I think beating it down is definitely one way of stopping it. Being ready with long guard should work in theory, but the blade is curved, so naturally it might not always be blocked. Maestro with 2 cuts. Good pairing by both of them. Feinting. There's a stab down low. Maestro trying to cut straight down. He gets a bit of a hit too. Nice tactical play by both of them. Luck is against the wall. Maestro actually on the attack, cutting straight down. Not so much trying to cut around the guard, which he might want to change, but it's actually applying a lot of good pressure. Maestro just cutting straight down, not switching up the angles, results in a double. I think he was trying to catch Luck in the middle of an attack and hope for a mistake. Maestro going with that upward cut out of measure results in a punishment there, but no kill. And then there's a stab to the body by Luck. Maestro being a bit too linear, yeah, that might be. He was moving to the side in that one flag, to be fair, but he was completely out of measure when he was doing it, so... Oh, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately that comment about being too linear might have screwed him up in that final flag there. So 7-2, Luck. Yeah, you gotta move to the side some a bit, but you don't want to open yourself up while doing so if you're in measure. Because that's what can happen right there. Luck is a really tough Saber opponent, by the way. I think Maestro threw a lot of those attacks out of measure because he was trying to catch him in the middle. He was kind of struggling to figure out what to do, and so that was the result. Alright, Tao, get in here. You're gonna fight Maestro next. And actually, Tao, stay in, because you're gonna fight Sinister after this. Last Sunday was the Thanksgiving here, except it was actually pre-Thanksgiving right before harvest. I see kerosene, that's interesting. Yeah, it's all down to when the harvest is, so people are a bit confused about why we have Thanksgiving earlier than Americans, and that's really why. We had our first frost a bit earlier, so... In fact, I think it was the 1st of October or something. It was kind of fitting. Really setting the stage for fall. Which, the more I think about it, the more I think it's actually my favorite season, just because I like Halloween, I like Thanksgiving, I like the slightly cool weather. It's not quite, frigid cold, but it's quite cold. There was no ham, just army-based stew with spam. Interesting. Was it good, kerosene? Yeah, we don't usually eat, like, spam for that. We usually have something like ham or turkey. Turkey is the typical protein, I would say. But Luck is a stabber. Yeah, I think that's the secret to stopping Luck's attacks, by the way. Just FYI, guys. A lot of what he does is he feints his cuts into thrusts. So, to be fair, sometimes he throws cuts too, so it can still be confusing even if you know what to look for. But a lot of what he does, a lot of the shenanigans that he does, it's all down to setting up those corkscrew thrusts or whatever he's thinking about landing. And he'll constantly harass your guard until you make a mistake of some kind. Luck telling me to shush. Well, you're free to tell people the secret to defeat me too, Luck, so because you know it as well, so anyway. Tao got a slight hit there. They're actually quite even so far. They're both waiting for a good opportunity. Tao moves in for the kill. Maestro was, I think, a bit slow to react. And there's a bit of a residual hit there. Yan is the secret to beat me. If you use him properly, it definitely can be. Maestro rushing in with the push, but that just opens him up. Yeah, we don't see you play a whole lot RNA. It'd be really good to see you guys spar. You're just bored of the game. Yeah, I can see that. For me, I'm not so much bored of it. I just really want to see the new content. Unfortunately, Kubold has been a bit slower with it than I was expecting, but we're still in October, so I'd say give him some time. Um, these updates take time, and especially if we're gonna get a bunch of characters in one update, it's gonna be a big one. So just remember, if he released all of them at once, it would take like 2 years. So it's good that he's doing it in batches, especially with all the story he has to complete. And there's a strike downward for Maestro. Life got in the way for you? Yeah, it's kind of getting in the way for me as well. I'm very lucky to even be able to be hosting on Sunday. Weekends are usually freer, to be fair, but I think Fridays are gonna be off the table even for competing with the volunteer work I'm having to do. But we'll see where that goes. Retreat cut by Tao, but it's punished. Yeah, I totally get that though about the life stuff. That's why the Thursday round robins are impossible now. I just have so much stuff to do that day that there's no way. Unless you want to do it at night, but I think I'd be too exhausted for that. So, and I'd rather focus on my studies, really. Even if he dropped two, I'd be happy. Yeah, two would be good. Two, like I'd still be wishing there'd be, like the five or whatever. But if he released two of them, that's pretty good considering how recently he released Yazuk. Life happens when you're making other plans. Yeah, that's how it goes. They gotta be done. Yeah. And honestly, it might even be smart to release the characters first if he can, and then the story. But I don't know. I don't know how and what order he's doing these things, so that's how I would do it if I were the developer, though. Just trickle out the characters while you're working on the story, and then release the story. But obviously, a big update in one big package, if you can get that out quickly, is still. It's really good for engagement. It's just the wait might be too long. One man making this amount of content is already impressive. Yeah, it is. Especially with the mocap and all the work that goes into that. Plus the story. I think his wife is actively working on the game now to help him with the story, but still, two people. Plus whatever martial artist, mocap people he's getting in to help him out here or there. It's still mostly one guy, though. So it's really impressive. And I think we're lucky that there's already novel material that he can draw from to inspire the story. Without that, I don't think he would have enough time to make a story, even. So we'd have a bare bones game without much of a story, without that content that already exists, if you know what I mean. Because I think all these characters are from those novels or are inspired by characters from those novels, so. There's a push from Maestro, and then he gets the point. Nicely done. I think that works because you expect an attack, so you block, but it's actually a push. Okay, Tau, stay in, of course. You're fighting Sinister now. Let's get Maestro out of here. And Maestro, you're going to fight Piper after this, and then Kerosene will fight Luck. We'll end the tourney with a fight against Maltese. I'll be fighting him. And about the one man producing all the content, it's worth noting, like, just scanning the clothing and getting that in the game, apparently that takes a ton of time, so... I think he's mostly past that stage at this point. He was talking about that earlier in the development, but he's doing that so that we get, like, one-to-one historically accurate examples of clothing in the game. So, there's also that to consider. It's not just the mocap, it's not just the writing of the story, it's also, there's also that going on. And obviously the drawing of the maps and all sorts of things. And that's on top of whatever bug fixes he needs to do, right? So it's definitely a tough job for him as it is, and multiplayer is really tough as well to implement if it's possible at all, so. Alright, Sinister on the left, Tau on the right. It's definitely our dream to have multiplayer, but I think realistically it's only happening after the game is actually finished. If it happens at all. So. Rushes in for the cut. So Tau has seen a lot of what Sinister likes doing, and he might do some things to counter that. There's the thrust, and Tau getting blade contact just stabs him right back and then cuts him. Excellent. And I really think Sinister needs to throw some cuts here. These stabs are just not gonna cut it. Even just the basic 1-2 combo at the right time. Oh, he did the sidestep X. That cut just doesn't have a whole lot of reach. And so Tau was able to snipe him. Oh, there's a quick thrust from Sinister. That was really well done. It's a very sinister attack indeed. Thrust attempt, but it's too far away. And Sinister's ready with long guard as well. Good attempt with the cuts, but too far, and that retreat cut doesn't have enough power. Sinister's actually kind of tricky to fight, and Tao's probably finding this now. He was trying to sort of use those cuts to force his way in, and it was working, but now Sinister's adjusted slightly. Tao will have to probably figure something else out. That was a good use of the thrust earlier, though, that counter thrust from Tao. And that was a good job by Tao. Sinister opened himself up. Tao ready with long guard, goes for the upcut, but Sinister backs away, and unfortunately that thrust doesn't land. Again, I think Sinister needs to do some more cutting. He was given a blade that's made to cut with. It's forward weighted. He should use it. That's why his thrust has the recovery it has, by the way. It's because he's extending his arm out, and that actually taxes the wrist just a little bit. So That's what it's supposed to be representing, I think. Plus the fact that he's lunging, so that's really high commitment attack just by default. And that cut there forces a double, but I'm planning on getting a trainer for a Hungarian Saber though. It looks kind of like that actually. So that'll be a lot of fun. And Tao takes it. I really like Austrian and Hungarian sabers in particular, and that's what Laszlo is using. So a Hungarian saber to be specific, I believe anyway. It might be an Eastern one too, honestly, like a Killage or something. It's because a lot of that's arbitrary, by the way. It's all dependent on the location. There's Shabla, for instance, that look just like Killages, so the only difference is the location. If it's in the Ottoman Empire, all of a sudden it's a Killage. If it's in Europe, it's something else. So that's often how the terminology for this stuff goes, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good indicator of where it's from, after all, but just worth keeping in mind. Oh, you do? That's kind of cool. Hungarian saber school. That's the style I really wanna master as far as saber. But I wanna like in my style, I wanna include stuff from like North African martial arts and English saber, which I've done a bit of. So my favorite saber in general, for instance, the Austrian 1858 cavalry saber that has a single fuller, not two fullers. It's only fullered on the one side, and it's kind of a hefty piece, 33-inch blade. I'd love to get an antique of one of those. Quite a beast of a saber, and I hope reproductions come out for them too, but I don't know how realistic that is. I guess you'd have to contact a company about that, or a smith. But if I ever get the money for something like that, because a reproduction would be really expensive, I would imagine, and I just don't have the money for that sort of thing. But if I did, that'd be really cool. Anyway, Piper on the left, Maestro on the right. There are some 19th century reproductions that look pretty cool now from I think it's LK Chen. They're producing some of those now. A lot of them are not accurate, unfortunately, on the market, but I think that is changing slowly. The Unity physics slash collision seems almost impossible to reliably run in multiplayer. Yeah, that's probably the main issue. You see that in many games that have modded multiplayer that's not native to the game. They try to implement it, but it just doesn't work out. It's definitely a tough process. And there's a kill for Maestro at the beginning. Oh, I got a ping. I'll just check that out later. Usually it's to do with the server if I get a ping, so. Upward cut by Maestro and keeps going. That's what you gotta do. That first cut fails, you do a second one if you have a dominant position, and he did. He was able to power through anyway, even with that guard up. Like for Piper, I don't think so, but Piper can pause if there is any. I think Piper's just trying to guard, and unfortunately that doesn't always work against the Zera. You gotta be more active. Make the fight dirty. So Maestro with 3 flags there. Piper having to figure something out. There's a double. There's a good try by Piper, but he has to be wary of those retreat cuts. Maestro rushing in, but there's a punch from Piper, but he retreats. He doesn't keep going. He had him there, but he did that retreat B cut, and unfortunately opened himself up to that upward cut. There's the upward slash by Maestro, the samurai, as some people call that. The weebs in the server. No, I'm kidding. It's a very anime-looking move, so I totally get it. Anyway. Holy stands nearly powering through, but Maestro retreats. He goes back out of measure, still out of measure. Now he's in measure, and he gets the hit. And Piper was struggling to reply, so it was still working in his favor, the fact that he was beating that blade. But I think Piper should have just taken a step back and hit the head. I think he should have punished that mistake by Maestro. Maestro out of measure, but Piper is a bit slow to punish. Nice parry into the upward cut into the arm, but no kill. And that upward slash, it was kind of one-handed. That was weird, but nonetheless, if Zera kept his hand on that blade, it would have made sense, so totally legit. And Maestro gets the point 7-0. Kerosene against Luck now. Piper needs more attacks. Yeah, I agree. And he needs to do the right type of attacks, too. More downward cuts to the head. So Luck feels pretty confident here. Let's have a look. You're still at my level, but if you win this one and I lose, you'll be ahead of me, is how this will work. I think Maestro has won it. Oh, you could have paused, Piper. Oh well. Usually it's Piper's internet, so it wouldn't have affected anything. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair enough. But if you feel, and especially if your internet is is bad, pausing it wouldn't necessarily fix it either. So yeah, so winning, yeah, to be clear, defeating the winner doesn't necessarily mean you win. You gotta get enough wins yourself, and I don't think Luck has enough. So even if he wins this one, if I win mine, I'm ahead of him. So all right, Kerosene on the left, Luck on the right. Yazuk. Thinking about using Yazuk. You can. There's nothing wrong with that in a competition. So not until we ban him. All right, I don't know what's up with Luck. Hang on. Oh, he's not even in. Okay. Did I send you a link? Yeah, that's totally fair, Piper. If it's the host connection or it's just Parsec being weird, pausing makes a lot of sense. But if it's your connection, it makes little difference if you pause or if you don't pause. So it's unfortunate, but there's not much that can be done. Yeah, my host has been running smoothly, so that's good. Going with Isabella. Luck knows how to play Isabella, to be fair. He's used her a little bit. decided not to go with Yazuk, decided to do the longsword fight, which is totally fair. If Maestro lost and Luck won his next fight versus Caro, he'd win the tourney, I think. Unless I beat him, then there'd be three-way tie. No, I think... yeah, maybe. Maybe. Very specific situation, though. Yeah, it's possible, though. Possible. I think the fact that you beat me, though, Maestro, because that's a bit earlier in the tourney, was pretty devastating for my prospects of winning, so that's also worth noting. You just came out of nowhere and defeated everybody, so... And there's a cut from Luck. Punishing a strike out of measure from Kerosene. Nice stab. Luck on the attack. Luck keeps going, but his throat gets split as he cuts Kerosene. Some long guard action. Kerosene mostly stationary. There's a push and a snap cut. Nicely done by Luck. Luck has mostly been attacking this game, and it's been working out for him well. Even against the guard that is Zera's, it's definitely very beatable. Snap cut. Unfortunately, he came from the same direction more or less with that cut, so Kerosene had an easier time counter cutting. There's a thrust out of measure, but Luck was just a bit too far to punish it. Oh, ran right into that thrust, probably didn't see it coming. Kerosene whiffing, and there's another thrust. He's really good at landing those. Wonder how much Luck has practiced Isabella lately, but he definitely has before. Has played her before. Upward slash. Cool blade contact there, but nobody got a hit. Interesting. He went with Iron Gate. Kerosene with a big cut out of measure. Then there's the stumble thrust, which really threw Luck off there. That was actually really good use of that by Kerosene. Kerosene moving forward. Thrust out of measure, but I think that's some kind of bait. Also hoping Luck just runs into it, too. That'd also be a good outcome. But Luck is using his footwork to make sure... Okay, well, he got hit there. But he was using his footwork to make sure that doesn't happen. There's the high guard cut, but that's a double. Good attempt by Luck. Thrust, and there's a cut, but it doesn't beat the blade down. And then Kerosene gets a hit. Thrust by Kerosene. Attacks out of measure, but the sidestep and the big cut by Kerosene allows him to trade. And Luck was moving very linearly there with that stab, so a bit of a gamble. If it worked, if it killed him instantly, it would have been possibly fine, but without a kill, that was doomed to fail. Kerosene really loving those counter attacks there. He really wants Luck to come in. And Luck is not responding correctly, I don't think. Luck's trying to punish those whiffs that are going on, but Kerosene getting to the side, getting control of that blade. Nicely done. Luck moving forward, but he moved forward at the wrong time. Went headfirst into that sword. Got lucky, though. Moves forward, then there's a downward cut. Luck is still not out of it. Luck has a good Izzy. Yeah, he does, actually. Could be more variety of moves, but As far as fundamental, he's got him for sure. And sometimes that's all you need with Isabella. I think he's learned some things from Venator. He said high guard cut that could have caught Luck if Luck wasn't patient. So that was really good on his part. I like what Kerosene tried there. It just wasn't quite enough. Luck showing really good patience. But he attacks when he needs to. It's the Swirch out of measure. Thrust out of measure. Kerosene needed to watch that stamina. That nearly caught Luck. That was a really good move. Bit of an exchange, and unfortunately that cut did not kill. Kerosene got him. So that is 7-5 for Kerosene. And Maltese, you finally get to fight. It feels like it's been forever since you fought. And that's going to be the final fight. Maltese, you get the left, by the way. Alright. So Malt, you get the left, I get the right. And I'm hoping for at least, I think third place is realistic. I don't know if second is, but first definitely is not, though. Maestro definitely took that, I would say. By the way, I haven't noticed any FPS drops in the game, so that's good as well. That used to be an issue. At least on this map, it's not an issue at all, so that's good. I don't know if it still is an issue in the other maps or not, but that's another reason why I switched to the Void map. And I could tell it was FPS drops because the FPS counter was actually going down. And I was lagging too, so in those moments, so if the host is lagging, that's how you know something's up with the game. It's nothing to do with the connection exactly. Anyway, Maltese, good luck. That was hilarious. Just trying to stay calm here, not lose it. Good fight, Maltese, and very good comeback attempt. I figured I'd be able to trick you into thinking I'd be going for a thrust by walking forward with long guard, then I just threw a cut. It's a pretty good tactic actually to use if you want to get past a guard or to provoke something to like defend a thrust, but you're actually cutting, so you end up preemptively dealing with whatever your opponent's doing. Good fight though. Good fight. That's what a lot of what that matchup comes down to. It's predicting what your opponent's gonna do and responding to that, getting in close if you're Alex, keeping your distance and poking if you're Maltese. Took your strat. It's actually straight from Kubal's tutorial, believe it or not. But yeah, there's something luck does too. Anyway, it was a what 7-5, right? I'll watch it back just to be sure. Yeah, it was a great tourney, Tao. Yeah, it should be 7-5. Greatest 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. experience. I mean, that guy's a trooper to be fighting at that time. It's tough. I can't imagine doing that regularly for sure. It's really good to see him in here at all. And I get second place. I'm pretty happy with that. Maestro got first place. That's another title for Maestro. And I think I'll end it here, guys. So thank you all for coming out. Really good to see a full roster. Zero signed up as a replacement, but unfortunately he was beaten to it, so he couldn't. But all the same, really good to see the community being great as always and really active. I don't know when I'm gonna host something again. It's just my schedule is busy like that. But next time I do host something, it will be some kind of elimination tournament so that we can get as many people in here as we can. The reason why we only have 8 people is just because round robins do take a while, even with just 8 people, as we saw here. So thank you all for coming out, though. It was a fantastic tourney, some really technical fights, and I'll see you guys next time.